You know, it's a very interesting concept because not many people discuss about this too much, I feel, that I see from within the space. Entrepreneur mental health is always something that is not widely renowned for its world overview. And what I mean by that specifically is that because of the line of work that we do and the responsibility that I take on and the type of expectations that we have set, not many people will talk about the downs. And of course, everywhere you always see the highs, the nice cars, the nice dinners, the nice trips, but no one ever really talks about the downs. And not to get like doom and gloom, that's not the point of this. The point of it is just to say that there are going to be times that suck. And a lot of the certain moments that you're going to feel stuck and you don't really know what to do. I remember this first ever occurred to me when I hit 10K a month. When I did that, I was like, great, we just hit a huge accomplishment. I don't really feel that accomplished, and now I have like an idea what I do, but I don't really know what I need to do. Now this comes from what a mentor once told me, is that you always know what you need to do. You just have to have someone tell you to go do it. And this kind of opened it up, because a lot of the times when we have so much going on in life, and there's some more things beyond just simply business that people don't talk about, right? Like family, you could be going through something, you could be having a parent sick or whatever the case may be, and there's just these different scenarios that never particularly come up. But ultimately, all these situations I know are always going on inside of our heads, and we want to be the best version of ourselves for either ourselves or the people that's around us. And there's going to be these certain points and times where you can't feel happy 100% of the days, because then it would just be a day. You know, there would never be any emotion variability. So just to be a realist from what I've been taught to by mental health experts, is that there's always going to be certain different days. Being realistic enough to understand that if I have a routine every single day, there's going to be times where it's not going to be perfect, and you're going to just have to adjust and coordinate. This is why adaptability is becoming a really, really important thing into all these years, because everything is changing. And as far as you and I are concerned, we're going to be in this timeline of growth and things just being incredibly sped up from 1 to 100 texts within years. Not even, maybe a year or two, right? I always reflect back to when I started Dulce for the very first time, ChatGPT didn't exist. That wasn't even a thing. And I mean, I'm sure it was a thing, but like nobody really knew about it. And it was very interesting to think about that, because look how far we have come since then, right? Even for now, I'll just use a dumb example. Cal AI, that app on your phone that allows you to take a picture of your food and it'll tell you the ingredients and calories and protein. Obviously, it's not 100% perfect, but it could get you pretty close to that. And it's very interesting that we're at a point in time now where we just tell it, hey, look at the picture of food and break down what the macros are. When you put that into perspective, it's pretty incredible. And the same thing goes for a lot of different tools. Like, I don't know if your parents ever play around like the video generation from ChatGPT, but it's in interesting ways that we live in now, and especially growth and automations and all that. It could feel overwhelming. And this is really important, that when you get stuck in business, you need to just take a step back, right? You guys know the saying, take one step back to take 2 steps forward. And the reason why that is a saying is because, once again, we can't just perpetually go up. If you think about stocks for a sec, there's always why that some of the best performers statistically over time, like I'll just take Apple, everyone knows Apple. When it's going up, obviously it has down days, it pulls back, and then it goes up. But the thing is, you see it's always trending upwards, at least for like that stock specifically. And it's because you need to have the times to assess the high level overview. So meaning, I'm almost certain you would agree with this phrase. Have you ever finished your workday and felt like you got nothing done? Or that the whole week's passed by and all you did was talk to people on calls and didn't really move the needle in your business? Because believe me, I've felt exactly what that feels like. And when you take your step back to do the 2 steps forward, you need to take a look at quarterly and yearly. I know this sounds like such a big time frame, but I'm being serious. How were you 1 year ago? Well, you'd probably tell me, wow, incredibly different. And I wouldn't doubt that. Same thing by quarter. So Don't get hung up in the day-to-day of feeling, hey, this is where every day I feel that I'm not getting enough stuff done, and then you look back at it in a year or a quarter and you're saying, hey, there's been tremendous growth here, right? And ultimately, holding yourself accountable and keeping to those tasks and things that you have to accomplish to move the needle is what's going to help you prevent that. Now, I'll give you my best actionable advice from this, and it is actually coming down to a time management portion of it that you've probably heard me talk about before if you've been watching my content for a bit. If not, I think you should smack that subscribe button. Breaking up your days into maker days and manager days. Alex Hormozi and a couple of the guys have talked about this exact topic here before, and this is just breaking it out. So these days I'm focusing on the business and getting stuff done, and then other days I'm focusing on just the maintenance work of the business, right? So this could be taking calls, this should be, you know, doing a little extra work that you need to do, and the maker day should be everything about moving the business forward. So this could be content, this could be developing, this could be campaigns, marketing, whatever the case may be, right? And you have to take that and protect it with your life, because one thing that I first got in entrepreneurship that I wasn't really told about much at the beginning was this consistent, you have to say no to everything. And as you get bigger and bigger, your time shrinks and shrinks and shrinks. But the thing is, you think about Elon Musk, he has SpaceX, he has Tesla, and whatever other ventures. He has X, Twitter, right? There's so many other ventures, and he owns 3 of like the biggest, you know, renowned companies. So you can't say that you don't have time to do things. Okay, he doesn't have time to do things, but you know what? He still gets it done anyways. And I'm just using that as an example because I read his biography. You should totally check that out if you haven't. But it's interesting, again, when you put it into that perspective where, all right, he is breaking it up individually to master all these different adventures, or not adventures, all these ventures that he's a part of. Okay, and it just comes down to that simple factor there. And at the end of the day, what I'd always do is jot down how to win tomorrow, as I like to call it. Even I keep a task in my phone, going over if I've completed that. So how to win tomorrow means you have to set, expect, and time-wise, because some things in business will end up taking more time than you think. For example, when I wanted to hook up my accounting program to be automated when I received a payment, I thought that would take me 30 minutes at max. It ended up taking me 6 hours. Because something with the HTTPS redirect URI that I had no idea how to change, or URL that I had to change, and edit inside the console, right? I didn't know anything about that, so I had to teach it, I had to learn it, I had to ask people for advice. The people's advice wasn't working, it wasn't on Reddit, it was nowhere. So some of those things are unplanned for, and this is where that adaptability comes into place. So prior, you just need to break it down, adjust it. And I do this every night. I set a time aside every night to do this, because guess what? When you wake up the next day and you get right into it, you need to know that this is what needs to be done today. And you don't have to think about it, because in the morning, obviously, you're getting up, you know, you're getting into your routine, getting things ready. You want to sit down and just get to it. You don't want to have to now start thinking, oh, what do I need to do, right? So break that down, just jot down, I have a little notepad on my desk, jot down every day that says, all right, this is number 1 task, 2, 3, 4, 5, and these are my non-negotiables. All right, if I don't get this done, then that's okay. I could continue to work on it, because like I said before, sometimes some of those things take time, and it's good to have that adaptability, because you don't want to consistently set yourself up, I need to get this done, and then it doesn't get done, and then you get this unmotivating feeling, and then ultimately now you're going to want to stop because you keep skipping it and you keep ruining the routine cycle. Same thing with going to the gym, same thing with doing your work, same thing with cooking healthy, right? Whatever scenario it might be. You want to make sure that you have it planned out, you have ideas, and just map it out in your head. Even on my fridge, right, I have a detailed guide of eating healthy, right, the best things to get, best things to avoid, what each day could look like, how I can maximize my 150-gram protein intake without taking 1,800 calories, or whatever the deal is. And it took me, for ChatGPT, a couple minutes. Okay, right? We don't want to be in this informational overload this day, because I know that you have access to so much information at your fingertips that people feel often overwhelmed because of it. But I promise you, just even if you take one thing from this video, it's just jot down your day's work prior, protect your time, and just focus on what is that needle moving activity, what is going to help me achieve my goal. If your goal all the way at the end of the day is, for me, like I want to build homes for people who are less fortunate. So if I make enough money to do that, how much money do I need to make? Well, if I need time, I need a lot of time to do that, to put that together, that would ultimately mean that I have to have enough money to be financially free. So I have that certain number in my mind, which work backwards. Now I need to have X amount per month. Understood? So the point being here is that you want to work backwards from that ultimate goal and then just chart out the vehicles to get there. It's like, great, if I took on 20 clients right now, would things be okay or would things be broken? Because guess what? There's two factors in business, right? It's fulfilling and there's acquiring. There's no other factors. I know it gets so intricate, but really at a high level overview, it's if you get great results and then you focus on bringing in new customers, what else is there to work on? So as long as you have those two portions absolutely dialed in, that should be your focus. Acquisition, most importantly, if you're at the beginning stages. And then as you work through fulfillment, you tweak, refine, and make things better over time. And when you are feeling stuck, you want to just take a step back. I don't even care if it's stare at a wall for 5 minutes. Seriously, I'm not joking. Stare at a wall for 5 minutes. Just reset your brain. Don't let anything influence your decision or your thought process, and just come back to it with a clear thought, because sometimes it's what we all need. All right? Talk soon.